You know, man, I'm 33 years old now. Still a young man, but I'm getting older. And as you get older, you get more definitive in your convictions and your opinions, and you become more protective of history. Because as we get closer and closer to our end, although I hope I'm far from it, as we get closer and closer to realizing our mortality, we become more protective of what we witnessed and the things that we've seen as greatness and things we've learned about. And one of my pet peeves on YouTube is when I see people who disrespect the history of whatever the genre is, whether it be entertainment, sports, history, politics, whatever. One thing I don't like is it's not enough to prop up a person whom you are biased for. You have to put other people down to prop up whomever you like. And that's an empty argument, in my opinion. Um, Usually I see people prop up Floyd Mayweather by saying, well, Floyd was more skilled than Ali. He's more skilled, which is a term that is open to interpretation wherever you use it. I could say, well, you know, an actor who spent years in Juilliard, a person who is a classically trained actor who's done dozens or hundreds of shows with Shakespeare and whatnot, would be a much more skilled actor than actor who, I don't know, a guy who's just done roles here or there, you know, local plays, and has done some movies. You know, a guy like Michael Clark Duncan, I don't think he's really had a lot of Shakespeare. I don't think he had a lot of Shakespeare experience. However, I can think of many actors who had Juilliard and Shakespearean experience who would be quote unquote more skilled than someone like Michael Clark Duncan. But I think Michael Clark Duncan is a better actor than those guys. Also, I think when you look at a person's record and you're like, okay, well, this guy lost, so therefore this guy's better than this guy because this guy has 5 losses and my guy got no losses. Even though with Castillo, I think he lost that fight. You know, I think Floyd's true record should be 43-1, but that's just my opinion. But anyway, that's like looking at an actor and looking at his net worth, or better yet, looking at his box office returns, which is not all, you know, which has a lot to do with promotion by the actor, by the studios, by the quality of the film, by the script, a lot of that. It's not just him. Anyway, that's not looking at, well, his films have grossed $4 billion. This actor's film has grossed only $3.4 billion. So therefore, this actor's better. That's how I go. That's how I view it. That's common sense, right? No, it's not. There's so many different variables to look at when you look at Muhammad Ali, Floyd Mayweather. Look at quality of opponents. Let's see. Ali fought Sonny Liston, George Chuvalo, Oscar Bonavena, Joe Frazier, Sir Henry Cooper, may he rest in peace. Joe Frazier, I just mentioned, may he rest in peace as well. George Foreman, if I haven't mentioned him. Larry Holmes, whom he fought when he was well into Parkinson's syndrome. I recall reading that he already had nerve damage in his hands. He could not, according to the Mayo Clinic, I believe that's where he was getting this testing done. He could not touch the tip of his nose. And many of you saw in the documentary, he had trouble hitting the punching bag, the speed bag. He couldn't. He was having problems with that. He had a hole in the membrane of the top of his brain, and yet Larry Holmes couldn't put him down. Oh yeah, I also forgot to mention about George Chuvalo that George Chuvalo in his career, I think George Chuvalo fought something like 20 years, never was knocked down. Also, when Ali was 35 years old, he fought Earnie Shavers, one of the hardest punching fighters of all time, a guy who's regarded to have the hardest right hand in boxing history. Many of you have seen what Earnie Shavers did to a prime Larry Holmes. Larry Holmes, I believe, said no one has ever hit him that hard. Shavers could not put Ali down. Ali probably has, in my opinion, along with Marvin Hagler, the greatest chins in boxing history. I have the utmost respect for Muhammad Ali, man. Ken Norton's another guy that Ali fought. He fought a lot of quality opponents, man. He fought a future, his last bout of his career, I believe it was in December 1981. A nearly 40-year-old Muhammad Ali, completely, at this time, becoming pronouncedly ravaged by Parkinson's disease, fought courageously. He lost, but not totally lopsided, but he lost to Trevor Berbick, future boxing heavyweight champion who Mike Tyson knocked out. But even this shell of Ali fought Trevor Berbick rather heroically. So this guy, Muhammad Ali, was the consummate fighter. He was much more than a fighter too, man. I chose this picture right here because Ali represented something bigger than boxing. Ali, before Muhammad Ali, black athletes and black people in particular, when it pertained to society, you had to be humble. You had to show, I'm just glad to just get this chance from the white man. I'm just glad to show that, scratch your head when it doesn't itch, and always smiling and making people realize, I'm not angry at boss. I'm happy that I got this opportunity. I'm just glad to get this opportunity, But Muhammad Ali was the first black celebrity. I'm not just going to sports. Black celebrity to show confidence, to dare even be cocky. And this meant, it's not just the fact that, okay, wow, I like the fact that he's cocky. It's the fact that he knew he was good, and he had no problems saying that he was good. And a lot of people in this country did not like his arrogance. This was anathema to what their agenda was, which is to keep us black people as a whole down in this country. And Ali just meant so much to the generation from the 60s and 70s into the 80s. And that's why I don't give a fuck if Floyd Mayweather goes 100 now. I could never put Floyd Mayweather ahead of this man. And that's just me, I just can't. I look at the quality opponents that Floyd Mayweather fought. He fought some good quality opponents. But I look at the people who Ali fought. And some people I'm probably just forgetting that I didn't name. Oh, Bob Foster for one. Yeah, true, he did fight an older Archie Moore. That's true. But hell, if people give Rocky Marciano credit for beating Archie Moore, then give Ali credit, or Cassius Clay at the time, for fighting Archie Moore. But Ali just meant so much more than just boxing. And this guy had a competitive edge, competitive drive. Although he could be witty, he could be funny, he did have a hell of a mean streak if you got under his skin. And a few times he showed it. And one of the most prominent times I can think of is when he fought Earnie Terrell. Earnie Terrell, one thing Ali did not like was to be disrespected as a man. And Earnie Terrell, in Ali's mind, disrespected him as a man. And Ali became a savage that night, man. He was a savage son of a bitch. He could have knocked out Earnie Terrell earlier, but he wanted to punish Earnie Terrell, and he did. He decimated him for 12 rounds. This was Ali in his prime, when the man barely got touched. He used his reflexes, to avoid getting punched. It's one of the things I think that hurt him, that caused him to get knocked down by Joe Frazier in their first meeting, was because the old Ali would have been able to maneuver out of the way of that punch. But Ali was a little bit bigger, a little bit sturdier in the legs, slower, and his reaction was just a fraction of a second off from the 1967 Ali. The 71 Ali was not the same guy as the 66, 67 Ali. But anyway, the mid-60s, Ali, I would take over any heavyweight in boxing history. 1967 Ali, that version of Muhammad Ali will put over any other boxer in heavyweight history. So I have no problems with Floyd Mayweather. I think he's a top 20 all-time, perhaps top 15 all-time fighter. But there are certain things that I just couldn't put him over certain guys for. Cherry picking. I just can't put him over certain people. And this guy right here, Muhammad Ali, who represented a generation, who represented more than just boxing or just a fad, or the guy who everybody wants to just like because everybody likes a winner. He's transcended his generations. He's transcended boxing. And Muhammad Ali and Floyd Mayweather do not, in my opinion, belong in the same sentence. Thank you.